Okay, welcome to the Angel Wing LLC. This is Sachin here, the moderator for our online program. I want to welcome you all to Angel Wing's online self-mastery and personal transformation workshops. This is our week number 2. So I want to thank, first of all, Dr. Chaitanya Kripalu, who's the founder of Angel Wing, in her vision for this extraordinary program, which we went over in week number 1. This is just a disclaimer statement, which you have already seen before, but we're just putting it on the screen for our records. And just a quick review from last time. So you have 2 notebooks with you. You have your 2 workbooks, workbook 1, workbook 2. And if you remember from last time, we looked at this particular sentence that is in yellow, that you wrote down these 7 points. You should have written those down and completed these as a homework assignment. Or maybe you did it in the live session last time. Just a quick review about the central concept that my mind is very complicated and has many parts that work together in intricate ways. So in your workbook, you should have written these 7 down, and then during this week to complete the sentence, the way you want to complete that. And that's what that was from last time. This was the central concept in the 3x5 card, which we will be examining in many, many ways throughout this year. The homework assignment was to read this 3 times every day and to get it really programmed in the mind before eating breakfast, lunch, dinner. Good way to remember. Maybe you can laminate it. Maybe we can provide some laminated materials later on about this. But this is the central idea around which the whole transformative process is based. So you have that card with you. That's already been done. And we also looked at last time the principle of acceptance, the central principle of acceptance, or the principle number 1, that is acceptance. And we looked at 5 points, which you probably wrote down, hopefully. And I did send the slides out. So all the slides will be sent to you after the session each time. So these 5 points were written down, and we did a verbal exercise online on this one. And just to be aware of this, that this is what acceptance is about. And as a specific exercise, I think I asked you to just look at number 1, embrace present moment without judgment or resistance. And we'll get back to this a little bit later on. But just the fact that you wrote this down now is good enough. Don't need to do anything more with that as of right now. Okay, now we're going to begin our week number 2 set of materials to go forward. Now you're going to need your book number 2. So workbook number 2, please open that and put on the header on the first page 12-dimensional self-assessment. It should be 12 dimensions self-assessment or 12-dimensional self-assessment. You can put that there. And what I'd like you to do after you open that, what I'd like you to do is to write down these 12 dimensions. Dimensions 1, career. Don't write the part in black. Just dimension number 1, career. Dimension number 2, finances. And make a list, just a 12-item list. Okay, that's all I'd like you to do at this point. Very simple, very straightforward. And after you're done, take your time. After you're done, just raise your hand on your Zoom box there. Very good. So you're just putting a small colon just like that after each one, just that is shown on the screen. Don't write the material in the black there. And please make sure you put today's date on top of the page that you're working on. You can put the time if you want also, but date is good enough. And take your time. After you're done, just put the hand up on the screen. It's a raise hand function on the Zoom there. Okay, very good. That is very good. Thank you very much for that. So now I want to talk a little bit to explain what this is about. First of all, actually, before I explain it, we're going to do a little verbal quick exercise. You're just going to say yes or no. All right, very simple. So I'm going to ask a question and you're going to just mentally or verbally say yes or no. So do you have a career right now? Yes or no? Just yes or no. Number two, dimension two, do you have any kind of financial status, any kind of money, bank account? Yes or no? Is there physical body and physical health? Yes or no? And the answer would be yes, certainly by physical body. Is there mental health? Do we have some level of mental health, that there's mind functioning? Yes, to some extent. The answer there would be yes also. For dimension 5, family and relationships. Do you have a family? Do you have relationships? Yes or no? Don't think about it too much, just simply yes or no. Do you have social life, interaction with some people that are not your family? Some kind of socialization with anybody? Yes or no? Personal development. Do you feel that you would like to develop further yourself, further? I assume that's yes, that's why you're here. Dimension 8, spiritual life. Do you feel you're a spiritual person? Do you have a spiritual life? Whatever that may mean to you. Religious, spiritual, any of those, meditation, whatever. Just yes or no, very simple. Don't write anything down. Do you do leisure, recreational activities? Just simple things, maybe going for walks or taking some small trips, whatever, or you would like to do them, yes or no? Very good. The environment. Do you feel that you're living in good environment? Your home environment is good, your neighborhood is good, it's clean, not polluted, it's peaceful, silent, just in general, yes or no? Kind of a dichotomous, you might have some maybes in there and stuff, but won't worry about that right now. And contribution to society. Do you feel you make some contribution to society, the way you think it might, whatever? Charitable activities, volunteer work, or community involvement, anything, yes or no? And do you feel you have a long-term vision, the overarching vision of where you would like your life to go, what you would like to see the whole tapestry to be? That's a tough question. You may not have even thought about that. If you've thought about it before, great. If you think you have a vision, you can say yes in your mind. If you think, I'm not really sure, just say no, it's all right. Okay, having gone through that quick review, I want to present a couple of ideas here, very easy to understand, very simple. These numbers 1 through 12 that you see on the screen, these are the 12 dimensions. We're going to be coming back to this diagram again and again. Each one of us, in some way or another, has these 12 dimensions. Maybe somebody may say they're not really spiritual or religious, but then that's also a dimension that they don't have. But usually that's there, something is there. So 12 dimensions are all interconnected. So understanding this diagram is easy. You can see how number 1 is connected to number 2. Number 2 is connected to number 3. And then you can see they're all interconnected together. And there is a 12-sided white star, dodecagon. That just means 12 dimensions. So dimension 1 is connected to all the other 11 dimensions and within itself all the time. Meaning what? Our physical health is connected to the mental health is connected to our finances are connected to our recreation. Each one intersects with all the others. That's what these 12-sided figures mean. And very easy, simple. And at the same time, we know we have energy. This is the central concept, right? We all have energy. The energy is in the brain, in the spinal cord, in our senses, in our arms, in our legs, in different ways. And also the energy in our bank account. That is money. So that is also energy. The energy is within us. We also have energy that flows in all the areas of life. When we interact with our family, there's an energy there. There's a family-related energy. Right? So there's energy in every place. There is this core energy that is working in each dimension. This is the idea. Very easy, very simple. I'll give you a couple of examples. Right, so make sure it's just clear in your mind right now. You don't need to write anything down. Like our physical body, we're moving the physical body. It cannot happen without energy. It's the energy from the food we eat that gets stored, in our muscles, etc. Easy to understand. Same thing is true if we are, let's say, going for a recreational activity. Going on a trip somewhere, you need to have some money with you. You have to have time. Time and energy are related, things like that. right? So there's a lot of interconnected ideas, but in simple language, right now, all we want to be clear about is that there's 12 areas, they all connect with each other, and they all require energy. This is it. I think this is very easy to understand. All right, so now let's move on from this forward. You just wrote down in your notebook there, in your workbook there, 1 through 12. And I'm just going to go through each one of these very quickly for you so you'll understand. There's a little bit of a homework assignment. This is not something you need to do now, but you can if you want to. If the numbers pop up in your mind right now, you can write it down. Otherwise, this can be done as a homework assignment. So first of all, you'll notice that what I've shown here, number 1 dash my career, there's an X there. So you've written a colon there. That's the number you're going to select. So I'm going to explain to you how we're going to select an overarching number. It's called a self-rating. This is not a rating Angel Wing is giving or Sachin is giving to you. You are going to give this rating to yourself. It's very, very simple and straightforward, and it'll be useful for you. So the rating goes from 0 to 10. Okay, so how does it work? Well, it works like this. That kindly assess your current state on the scale of 0 to 10, where 10 signifies the highest and most optimal condition. Let's take a halt right there. This is your vision. If you say that for health, dimension 1, my health is topmost, it's excellent, it's awesome, it's fantastic, there's not even anything more needed for that. It is as perfect as it can be. That would be a 10. Okay. But if you say, no, I need to exercise more, I need to modify my diet, my blood sugar, my blood numbers are not right, maybe I'm at a 7, maybe at a 6, or something like that. So, or someone's health is not very good, it could be at a 3 or a 4. So this is a number. You don't have to select this number right now. You can do it later on because you may need to think about this a little bit. Right now, understand just the concept that the number can also be like 5.5, 5.6, 5.7. You can put a point there. You can say, wait a minute, I think I'm like 50% where I should be, but no, my sugar levels are not good. I've got taking three medicines and I want to be off of them, and whatever, right? It's your perspective. So a 0 would be like it's the lowest possible. Person is still alive, but they're at the worst possible situation. That would be like a 0, right? Now, this is your perception of your highest and optimal condition. That's a 10. It's your perception. So this is going to take some time. I don't want you to just select a number randomly and just put something there. No. You take your time with this. Understand the concept first. Keep in mind that this rating should be based on your own perspective, which we are going to enhance further as we move along. How to even open that perspective, we will talk about. But it's yours, as if it is right now, without my saying anything about it or anybody else saying, where do you think you are with that? So this rating should be based on your own perspective, and it is essential to be sincere, honest with oneself, candidness, and truthful, right? Honesty, sincerity. You're not going to necessarily show this workbook to anybody. You can if you want, but you don't have to. So this is just you're looking at it as it is. And if there are more questions about it during the Q&A after our 1 hour time here, we can go into that further if there are some specific questions about this. So I hope that's clear. Now let's go back to this. So you've already written 1 through 12. I want to just explain this a little bit further, just so it's clear. Career. We all have career. Number 1. What are 2 points to keep in mind? It focuses on professional life and work-related goals. Most people are working somewhere, professional life, whatever it might be. Even if you're a teenager or a student, you want to be in a profession. So you can think of it that way. Now, somebody might say, well, what if somebody's like a straight A student and, and they're in 9th grade or 10th grade? They don't have a career right now. So what number can they put? Well, if they're on the right track, they can say that, yeah, I've got a 9 or a 10. I'm really great. I'm doing fantastic. Things are clear. Or somebody might say, well, I'm like an A and B student, but I'm not really sure what career I want. There's some kind of confusion about it. So that number would be lower, maybe like a 6 or a 7 or a 5 or something like that. If you're already doing a career, already working somewhere, these things also involve things like job satisfaction, career growth. How satisfied am I? Some things to keep in mind. Am I really satisfied? Now, if you want, what you can do, underneath the list you made, you can create another list that writes all this down. Now, if you want, you don't have to do it now. The slide will be available for you. It'll be available as a PDF, so you can reference this. You don't have to write all this thing, all these points down. I'm just going to explain them. But if you want to write it down and make some more notes about it, please feel free to do so. Many aspects, and then we'll be going through these in more detail later on. But right now, as you're selecting the number, during this week, keep some of these things in mind. Am I where I should be in my professional life? Am I satisfied? Emotionally satisfied? Is my growth occurring the way I want it to occur in the career? This is point number 1. Okay, point number 2, my finances, very much connected to career. Easy to understand. Am I in debt? Is my income and expenses, are they balanced? Am I having imbalances in that? Or my finances are so fantastic that they're at a 10. My God, goodness, Or I'm making mistakes. I'm getting money, but I'm not spending it wisely. That goes back to the vitamin M idea. We'll talk about that later. Right? 2 points to keep in mind. Focuses on monetary aspects, general points. Involves income, expenses, savings, and investments. Okay, and this is just you looking at it. Point number 3, physical health. Easy to understand. Focuses on body's health and wellness, fitness, nutrition, and overall well-being. Pretty straightforward. Point number 4, mental health. Psychological well-being, depression, anxiety. Are these things present? Are there disturbances going on, or things are good? Involves emotional, mental health, stress levels, and resilience. These are some key bullets on this, just to keep in mind. You may make some notes if you would like on this, no problem at all. Point number 5, financial is family and relationship. 2 key points: interpersonal connection. How much connection is there within our family members? Is the quality of the connection good? So a 10 would be every relationship in the family is just top-notch. There's so much love, affection, respect, and you are feeling fantastic about that. That is what we want. That is personal interconnection. And what does it involve? Friends, family, significant others, all of them. And the 6th one is social life. This is social interactions. This is a little bit, it connects with family and friends also, but it involves things like social events, networking, getting involved in various groups, those kinds of things. Whatever that may be for you, it's your own. And some people might say, well, I just have a few friends, but I'm so happy with that. My social life is great. Somebody might say, I have a few friends and I want many more. I feel inadequate. Then that number would be much lower, 2 or 3 or something like that. So it's up to you. Okay, number 7, personal development. Where do you think you are on self-improvement and growth in your life? If someone says my development is occurring so fantastic that I'm continuously improving myself and growing and developing new skills and learning, different kinds of activities, that my growth is going on, and the growth is just excellent. That would be like a 9 or a 10, and then anything less than that. Okay, so number 8 is religious, spiritual life. That includes meditation, religion. It's an over catch-all term. So let's use an example. Somebody might say that they're believing in Christianity, believe in Jesus, go to the church and Bible study. There's good involvement in that, and they say that I'm like fantastic. I've been doing it for years, and I feel so great about it. I'm learning so much more and more, and I'm growing and growing and growing. That would be very nice. That would be 9 or a 10, or 9.5, 9.9, whatever, or anything less than that. Also, the second aspect of this, it involves purpose, meaning, and values in life. Is my religious life, my meditation life, my spiritual, is it giving me purpose and meaning? These are some important questions there. Again, you don't have to select this number right now. Take your time with it. You have a whole week between now and the next session to select that number. And you can watch this recording again if you want also. Okay, number 9 is recreation and leisure, which everybody needs that, right? Hobbies, interests. We want to take nice trips. We want to have downtime. So think of it this way: downtime throughout the day, leisure activities done when you're not working very hard for work, a job, or other things. How good is that? Are you happy with it? Some people say that, no, I don't have much downtime at all. I'm constantly on the go. I just can't find it. So that number would be really low. It'd be like a 2 or like 3 or a 1 or something like that. But then there might be some people who say, I have so much time. I'm just doing so much leisure activity, but I'm ignoring my physical health. I'm like a couch potato. So maybe that number is like 8 or 9, for the 9th dimension. But the physical health is low because of that. So they have to be brought up to the same par. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Number 10, environment. Again, some people are living in very poor conditions. There's crime, there's neighborhood is got a lot of noise, there's a dilapidated environment, there is danger. Those kinds of bad environments are there. There could be pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, things that you just say, I can't wait to move out of here. People say that. And then there's other places that are just so idyllic. This is like a heavenly place. My neighborhood is great, my friends are great, my neighbors are great, I'm so happy with where I am. That would be environment. And of course, this includes, this is home environment, neighborhood environment, community environment, 3 levels there. Sometimes the neighborhood and community is great, but the home is like a trash can. There's things are all over the place. You can't make heads or tails of anything. When I was doing social work activities over the years, I used to do home visits, and sometimes you would go into people's homes. You can't make heads or tails of anything. There's literally trash all over the place. And they have trying to navigate through that. It's sort of extreme poor conditions. So where do you think your home environment is? Is it like fantastic? Is it really the way you want it to be? Or are there improvements needed in that? Because that makes a lot of difference in the energy movement. It makes a difference in all areas of life. Neighborhood, community are also, all 3 combined together, you'll select a number. And you can always break it down. If you want to break that down further, we'll be able to do that a little bit later on. You can always say, like 10-my environment, and then put like a number 1 around that for the home, 10-my environment, number 2 is, neighborhood, 10-my environment, community. We can always do that too. And we'll be doing some of those more detailed things later on. Number 11, my contribution to society. What does that mean? It's about giving back. That's what the whole idea. If you're blessed with good opportunity to do something beneficial for the world outside, for the community outside, are we doing anything? Maybe even it's literally volunteering a couple of hours a week. Maybe it's doing some charitable work. Maybe it's doing some philanthropy work, those kinds of things. That would be number 11, right? So a 10 would be like, I'm so good with it. I'm doing, I think I'm feel, it's your feeling inside. It's not the quantity anybody judging you. Do you feel yourself that your energy, your time, your efforts are going to your satisfaction for number 11? And if you're not sure, you can always leave some of these blank. If you're not sure, we want to have more discussion about it. We have plenty of time for more discussion about it. Okay, very good. We're right on track here with time-wise. Number 12. This is a very big question. It's overarching vision, right? Wherever we are in our life right now, like for example, I'm 52 years old. This body is 52. Is my life where it should be? What is the long-term vision for my rest of my life? What legacy do I want to leave behind? If you're married, you have children, you have, whatever, you have next generation, you want to leave something for them, right? Maybe it's money, maybe it's a certain family tradition, maybe it's some publications, maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's a business. Whatever, what is it that you want your legacy to be? Because when we're not here, somebody else will be picking up with what we've started. It depends, right? Who knows? So it's your vision of life. Focuses on long-term goals and aspirations. So there's 2 aspects to this. What are my long-term goals? Now, as you select the number, and all I've asked you to do this week is just to select a number, not to write any more information on that. You can if you want to, but we'll be doing that a little bit later on. Right now, just to get a bird's eye view. It's long-term goals and aspirations. Is that clear in my mind? Am I on point with what I really want in my life? What are my aspirations? A 10 would be like absolutely clear. There's like not even the iota of a doubt about what's going to happen next. That would be like a 10. Also, legacy development. Now, some people might say, I don't care about legacy, but I think that's a bit short-sighted. Most people have children. They have somebody that they care about, that they want to leave something behind, or they want their life to mean something for the next generation, for other people. It could be family, it could be something apart from family. It's a question of legacy, and it envisions the future. What do you want to leave behind? Right, so there's 2 things. What do we want to achieve now, in the short term, long term focus and aspirations, and what do we want to leave behind? It's a big question, right? So Take some time with that, and then you'll select a number this week sometime that makes sense to you. And we'll also be sending small videos and audios and things to further explain these to help you select the number this week sometime. All right, so having said that, we are ready to, okay, this was actually the exercise. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to do a little stretching exercise here like we did last time.
I'm so glad you're joining us for a quick move workday, at least every 30 minutes of uninterrupted sitting time. Doing so can reduce your risk of weight gain, high blood pressure, and obesity. Let's get started. Begin by standing. Root both feet into the ground. Take a great big inhale and reach both hands high above your head. On your exhale, goalpost the arms and lift the chest, finding a baby back bend. Back bends can quickly boost your energy levels and help to refocus your mind when dealing with stress. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lift the chest and goalpost the arms. Place your hands down by your side. Now bring your right knee up to your chest. Try to balance here as long as you can. Feel the stretch in the back of your leg and lower back. Now slowly bring your foot back behind you and pull it towards your glutes, stretching through the front of your hips. You may want to hold on to something in order to help keep your balance. Let's switch to the other side. Bring your left knee up to your chest. Try to balance here as long as you can. Feel the stretch in the back of your leg and lower back. Now slowly bring your foot back behind you, pull it towards your glutes, stretching through the front of your hips. Bring both feet back together. Next, bend your arms by your side and begin to twist right and left, opening up into your sides and spine. You can leave your arms bent or straighten them out depending on the space you have available. Twisting the spine back and forth can help relieve any tension in the lower back from sitting. Lastly, place your feet about hips distance. Then place your hands onto your hips. Take an inhale and lift the chest up, and exhale, slowly beginning to lower the chest down. As you begin to fold forward, bend the knees to begin lengthening through the hamstrings until your chest touches the tops of your thighs. You can dangle your arms down towards the floor or grab onto your elbows. Stay here to continue lengthening through the spine, or you can sway side to side. Bring the hands back to your hips, and on your next inhale, slowly begin to rise up. Head comes up last. Great work on integrating this quick physical activity break into your busy day. Setting a reminder on your phone or computer can help you remember to fit in regular breaks. Breaks don't have to take up too much of your time and can be effective with just a few short minutes. Low-intensity activities such as standing can be just as beneficial as walking. We encourage you to take a stand against sitting.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. That was just a quick stretch break there. So in our next half an hour, we're just going to do we're going to do two things now. We're going to do a quick review of the 7 points that we talked about in the first session. You don't have to write anything down, just as a reminder. If you remember last time, you may have written this down, and hold on one second here. You may have written this down, and if you were not sure, you could always do this as a homework exercise. If you did it as a homework exercise last time, that's great. This was about writing down whether you agree, disagree, partially agree, you're not sure, I don't understand. Remember that from last time? So there were 7 points, and last time we covered point number 1, and we did some, presentation on that. Today we're going to be looking at number 2. That is, mind requires substantial energy to function. So what I'd like you to do in your workbook number 1, I'd like you to please, again, put today's date and write this yellow sentence on top of the page. Put today's date and put this sentence on top of the page. Mind requires substantial energy to function. Right? This is our continuation from last time. Okay, very good. Now what I'd like you to do, take some time, and underneath that sentence that is in yellow, there are 7 bullets here. So I'd like you to write these down and put the blanks in. The mind requires a significant amount of energy, blank, effectively. You don't need to fill in the blank right now. You can do it as a homework assignment this week. But write these 7 points down. Take your time with it and make a nice long blank there. And you can maybe, as you're writing each bullet, maybe skip a line or two so you keep some space if you want to write something in later on for that. And after you're done writing these down, put your hand up, and then I'm going to do a small presentation to give you some examples of what each of these look like, right? So this is all part of understanding the central concept further. So take your time and write these down, 7 sentences here. There's no need to rush. Take your time with it. Make sure you keep some spaces, between these bullets. So because you can come back to it and make some more notes, things like that. Remember, you don't need to fill in the blank right now. If something comes into your mind, you feel like writing something, you can, no problem. You keep it blank and you can think about it later on during this week. But please make sure that you do complete these exercises before the next session. Nice and easy. As you're writing, just one small request, try to take deeper breaths. Just keep your attention a little bit on taking a nice, inhale and exhale. There's not a race. There's no need to rush. Very good. Nice and easy. Very good. You don't need to worry about analyzing these statements or thinking about them too much. Right now, you're just writing them down. Okay, very good. Wonderful. Now that everyone has written down these statements, I'm going to give a little presentation for the next couple of minutes on each of these. So just follow along with me. And if you want to make some notes as you're writing, you may do so, or you may just listen nicely. So the first point here, let's see if I can open this. Here we go. Let's just do this together. Let's just make sure we're on the same page. We're listening and examining together. Very simple. The mind requires a significant amount of energy to process information and make decisions effectively. Is that true or not? Ask yourself. Yes. In my opinion, Sachin's opinion, absolutely. Mind does require a significant amount of energy. That's that core energy. Remember that core energy diagram? Okay? To do what? process information, make decisions. Do we process information? Yes, we do. Do we make decisions throughout the day? Yes, we do. Absolutely. Another possible answer. The mind requires a significant amount of energy to learn and retain new information effectively. Absolutely. Very important for kids, teenagers, adults. Everybody can learn new things in life. Energy is used to learn, to retain information. Third example. Our minds require a significant amount of energy to regulate emotions and mood effectively. What does that mean? We have emotions. Don't we have emotions? We all know what that is. Emotions are regulated. They need to remain within a range. If they go outside a range, that core energy gets imbalanced, imbalances all the areas of one's life. We don't want that to happen, right? So the regulation of emotion and mood. By the way, what does the word mood mean? It's your overall feeling state in a certain period of time, like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like that. How was your mood within the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks? It has a certain amount of time period behind it. That's all that means. Right? So these are three examples or three possible answers for that blank. In the homework assignment, please don't use these three examples. Please select something else apart from these that will come to your mind. You can look it up, you can think about it some more, right? But if you really want to use one of these and that makes more sense to you, okay, fine. But I would suggest try something other than these three. All right, let's go to the next one. The next bullet point was about this mental tasks that require a lot of focus can cause the mind to consume significantly more glucose than at rest, right? So when mental activity is like a lot of focus, concentration is there, more energy is required, more nutrient is required. That's easy to understand. Mental tasks that require a lot of focus can cause the mind to fatigue more quickly than when performing easier tasks. We know that if we're really focused, highly focused mentally, just mentally right now, these are that the fatigue can be more, that you're using more energy. Just notice how the energies are used. We know if you're studying really hard, students studying really hard, for example, or working on some project, there's going to be more use of energy than easier tasks. This is interesting, the third point. Mental tasks that require a lot of focus can cause the mind to burn through more calories than when performing physical activity. That's not always true, but it certainly can be. If there's a lot of mental energy going on, that can use a lot of energy. See, very interesting. This is all part of the central concept to understand this. Very good. And remember, you don't need to remember all this right now. It is being recorded. The slides will be available for you after our session today. Third point, the amount of energy the mind requires can vary depending on the complexity of the task at hand. Again, remember the core energy diagram? How much of that energy is being used depends on how complex the task is. The more complex the task, the more energy is used. Another possible answer, the amount of energy the mind requires can vary depending on the mental state of the individual. Yes, obviously, this goes kind of back to those feelings and moods stuff we were talking about before, right? If my mind is agitated, worried, tension, the energy, a lot of energy is used in that, or become angry, frustrated. Even you get excited, a lot of excitement uses a lot of energy. So a lot of energy, different ways the energy is used. It depends on the mental state. That's an old catch-all term, mental state. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, memory, desire. It's a whole internal mental mechanism. How much energy is being used there? State of mind. If the mind is stable, calm, at peace, you have peace of mind, energy utilization is a good quality utilization. Easy to understand that also. Another possible answer to this, the amount of energy, see the quantity, the amount of energy the mind requires can vary depending on the time of day and the individual's circadian rhythm. We know that. We know that very well. We get up in the morning and what happens? We sometimes are, energized and say, hey, I'm looking forward to doing all these 10 things throughout the day. And then by the time 12 o'clock comes, you had lunch and you feel like, my God, I'm so tired. I just want to go to sleep. Whole mind state has changed. And evening time comes, something else is coming up. And then so there's a physiology behind it. Diet is connected to that. The point is that the amount of energy the mind requires, our mind, it is based on time of day, circadian rhythm cycle, which we'll talk about later on as we move along in this program, the 24-hour cycle, the changes in the body, changes in the 12 dimensions, all of that impacts how much energy the mind requires. Okay, very good. So that's that one. Now, this is interesting and easy to understand. The mind can become fatigued if it doesn't receive enough sleep and rest to allow for recovery. If it doesn't receive enough sleep and rest to function. Then you can modify that sentence a little bit there. So sleep and rest are necessary. It has to have enough sleep and rest. Next possible answer. The mind can become fatigued if it doesn't receive proper hydration and nutrition to function. It cannot function adequately in a healthy way, like that number 10 that we're looking at in all those dimensions. How are you going to get there? There has to be enough proper rest, proper sleep, good nutrition, good hydration. Then it functions well. What functions well? Our mind and our brain, of course, and our body, all that together. The mind can become fatigued. See the word fatigued here. Fatigued if it doesn't receive enough physical activity and exercise to maintain blood flow and oxygen to the brain to function. I have to remove the periods from these 3 black sentences there. So just ignore those periods at the end. Physical activity is needed. We cannot function. But again, what type of physical activity? How much? You've got to figure that out with your medical provider, with your nutritionist, or with your trainer, or whoever is guiding you personally. We have general recommendations in Angel Wing, but you'll have to look at that and apply it yourself in the right way. Obviously, a 90-year-old person, their physical activity is going to be different from a 20-year-old person. The diet is going to be different and all that. So each person has to find out for themselves what is the right kind of activity and exercise in all those dimensions, right? So that's the individualized portion that you'll have to work on. We'll give you general guidelines and we'll have lots of material available for you to understand this further and to apply it actually. All right, next point. Consuming certain foods and nutrients can help improve the mind's memory and cognitive abilities. There should be an and there, right? Obviously, if you have the right nutrition, right food, and all that, our thinking, cognitive meaning our thinking power is good. Our memory power is good. Okay. What does it also do? Having the right foods and nutrients helps us to improve attention span and focus. If we don't get the right kinds of nutrition, our attention span varies. We can't focus, have problems. A lot of people have problems with this. And food and nutrition, the right type, along with many other things, are connected to attention span and focus. All right. Again, this is all about the central concept. Consuming certain foods and nutrients can help improve the mind's overall health and well-being and cognitive abilities. Right? So that's understandable. We just said that. Okay, hold on 1 second here. Oh, wait a minute. I lost that. Where did it go? Hold on a second here. Let's go back here. Current slide. Let's go to the next one. Regular exercise. Regular exercise can help the mind improve cognitive and memory function. Again, the nutritional part and then the exercise part. It connects together. Increases blood and oxygen to the brain. Another way of looking at it. Reduces stress and anxiety. What does regular exercise, based on medical recommendation and what you're able to do, whatnot, it is generally shown to reduce stress and anxiety. Regular exercise improves mood and overall well-being. So you can complete that sentence. It's easy, very easy we know this. It's not something which we don't know. We have to internalize. Knowing is one thing, internalizing is another. Okay, now having said that, the last point here, trying to multitask can be exhausting for the mind. as it requires more energy and effort than focusing on one task at a time. Okay, so switching between different tasks is one thing. So trying to multitask can be exhausting for the mind, as it requires more energy and effort than focusing on one task at a time. To switch between different tasks. So when you're switching, we'll modify that sentence a bit, but there is a switching back and forth. It's difficult to do multitasking. You may have multiple tasks to do, but it doesn't mean you can do all of them at one time. No. It exhausts the mind, keeping too much burden. No, put the task in front of you. Let's do one thing, then let's do another, let's do another, let's do another. Good enough. Easy to understand. Trying to multitask can be exhausting for the mind, as it requires greater level of concentration and attention to detail. If you're trying to do too many things, jumping back and forth, your concentration and attention is shifting, and it exhausts the mind. So it's good not to try to do that. Do one thing at a time well, do it well. And also trying to multitask can be exhausting, as it requires a higher level of cognitive flexibility and mental agility. Yes, there are some people who can, jump from one thing to another and kind of stay on track. But you have to develop the cognitive flexibility. How flexible are you in doing that? The point here is that for now, just keep this in mind, that try to do one thing at a time. This is the general idea. We just want to understand the principle. And what is the principle that we're trying to understand? It's written in yellow. The mind requires substantial energy to function. These are just examples that I've given you here. There are thousands of examples of this. Thousands. Okay? Maybe hundreds of thousands. But this is a fact, that there's tremendous amount of energy is needed to function. Okay, now, having said that, we have about 10 minutes left. So today, this is week number 2, so principle number 2. Every week we get a new principle. So write this down in your workbook number 1 and put today's date and write down quantum transformation principle number 2, and then write in nice, uppercase letters, tolerance. You can put a colon after that or just make an underline underneath. Write it the way you want, whichever way you want. You can write different colors if you want. It's good to have some different colored pens or markers and things like that to highlight some of these ideas, right? So this week, in week number 2, our focus, our attention is on tolerance, to apply tolerance in life. We all know we need to be tolerant. So let's look at some ideas about tolerance. And after you're done writing that, just raise your hand. Just give everybody a chance to write that down. Just write down what you see on the screen here. Quantum transformation. Write it down exactly the way you see it. Very good. Thank you for that. So there are 3, 4, 5. We have 5 major ideas about tolerance, which we're going to look at. You do not need to write these down, okay? You can write it down later if you want. Right now, just try to understand it. Let's just be with it. So there are 5 distinct approaches to comprehend the concept of tolerance. The first box on the left, what do we see there? Understanding differences. We'll do a little verbal exercise. You don't have to write it down, but if you want to take notes, you can. You can write some of these things down. If you want to, it's fine. You'll have the slides, like I said. But right now, we just want to understand it. There's 5 approaches, and here's what they are. Understanding differences, open-mindedness, empathy and compassion, avoiding prejudice, and encouraging harmony. 5 points. And actually, you know what? Maybe let's do it this way. You can actually just write down those 5 points. So understanding differences, and just write that. You don't need to write the definition of that or anything. And then put your hand up. Understanding differences, open-mindedness. You can see it. It's in the top of each box. And I'll put an underline on that next time when I modify these slides. Very easy enough. So under tolerance, there's 5 points to keep in mind. 5 points to just write down right now. Understanding differences, number 1. Open-mindedness is number 2. Empathy. Let's see if I can see this here. Empathy and compassion is number 3. Number 4 is avoiding prejudice. Number 5 is encouraging harmony. You don't need to write all those other things down there. I'll talk about them. We'll do a little verbal exercise in just a moment. And after you're done, just raise your hand on Zoom so that I know that you're done with that. Very good. Thank you very much for taking the time to write those down. Now, I'm just going to talk about it for the next couple of minutes before we do our closing exercise for today, or the closing video. So, understanding differences. Folks, life is filled with differences. We know that. Tolerance is about accepting and respecting the fact that people can have different opinions, beliefs, and lifestyles. That is a fact. So when we are aware of this, when we are aware that tolerance means this, right now, our goal is just to openly look at what is tolerance, accepting and respecting the fact that there are differences of opinions, beliefs, and lifestyles. Okay, this is point number one. Lots of examples. We'll be looking at this further in different workbooks and whatnot. Point number two, open-mindedness. Being tolerant means being open-minded to learning about and understanding the perspective of others, even if they differ from our own. That is open-mindedness. Very good. Easy to understand. Number three is empathy and compassion. Tolerance involves putting ourselves in others' shoes and showing kindness, even when we don't agree with them. Ask yourself, are we doing that? Who are we not doing it with? This is a big question in life. It's so easy, quick to make judgments, quick to blame others, quick to back up a little bit and say, wait a minute, hold on. No, empathy and compassion, I want to develop that. I want to be in that this week. Okay, point number four, avoid prejudice. To be tolerant, we should avoid making judgments about people based on stereotypes or biases, and instead get to know them as individuals. This is a big thing in life. Get to know people for who they are. Otherwise, just judging them really quickly. This person is like this, or this person, stereotypes of different kinds, different biases. Notice this week, are there biases? Are there stereotypes? Are there quick judgments being made? This is point number four. Point number five, encouraging harmony. Tolerance promotes peace and unity by encouraging us to appreciate and celebrate the diversity within our communities. How beautiful. Diversity is part of life. Within the community, so many different diverse ways of living life are there. Encouraging harmony. In our week today, in our week coming up, between now and the next session, is there tolerance? Is there harmony? Are we seeing the differences and trying to be open to them? Maybe we interact with people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different languages at times. Can we see and appreciate the diversity? Right, so now this week, you've written these 5 points down, and as the final homework assignment for this week, what I'd like you to do, so since you've written those 5 down in your workbook, you don't do it now, but throughout the week, notice where you are practicing tolerance and when you're not, and just make some notes. You're going to have the slides, so I'm going to send them to you. You can refer back to this, all this thing, you'll have that. Just notice throughout this week, where am I practicing tolerance or not? And actually what I would like you to do, I know you have that 3x5 card already, but and you probably don't have another one with you right now, but if you have another one, which I will put in the next time when we do this live, but we need to have a card, just one more, maybe a couple more cards. And the last time we put acceptance, second, number 2 is tolerance, and you can keep that with you, with the other card, so you know which principle you're applying this week. And also, again, this week, the central concept card, keep with you and just read that 1 time a day. Anytime, maybe breakfast, lunch, dinner, before going to sleep. You don't have to read it 3 times, just 1 time a day. And throughout the week, just ask yourself, am I tolerant? Remember these 5 ideas, you've written them down, and see how much they can be applied. Where they're not being applied, that's all. Very simple. You don't have to make it elaborate. You can write some things down throughout the week, right? That's all. And you can always refer back to this recording anytime. Beautiful. And now time has come to put a little bit of cash into your envelope. So I hope you have your envelope with you. Whatever amount, maybe it's a $5 bill, $10 bill, $15 bill. We are expressing and are trying to understand storage of energy, right? So take some cash and put it in the envelope, or maybe make a check out to yourself. You're not going to be sending this to Angel Wing. This is for you to realize core energy concept. And there's a wonderful book written about this by one of our presenters in Angel Wing. We'll be talking about all that later on. But right now we're going very slowly, step by step. And this is going to connect with financial health and career and all those other areas also, right? So put some money inside there, and that money is not to be used. It is to be stored. Once we finish the 3 months, you'll see how much money is there, and then I'll give you some next steps to do for the next 3 month cycle after that. Okay, good. And if you're done with that, I assume you're done with that. Fantastic. Your hand is up. We're going to have our closing inspirational song here. Let me see if I can just put this here from current slide. Okay. Thank you so much for engaging in week number 2 workshop. We have now time for the next half an hour or so for any questions, any comments, anything anybody wants to ask in more detail. There we go, Chaitnaji.
No, it's all good. Would you start with a 5-minute meditation?
Yes. I was going to do that actually. Yes. In fact, what I'm going to show one of your meditations that's on YouTube. Because I'm going to incorporate your YouTube meditations in here. That's starting next time. Yeah.
So that way, then it's a good start. Then in the middle, the exercise is good, and I like the ending.
Yep. Very good. Very good. There we go. Anything else? Okay, bas aapka aashirwad hai, bas that's all. And Devi ji is going to do this, it's recorded, so she'll watch it at her own time, and she's also doing it. So just the two of you for the next 3 months. Keep giving me feedback, whatever, and do the homework assignment. See if there's any obstacle in that or anything. Let me know. You can send an email inside, so that way I'll have it recorded in there, and then I can always and then we'll be giving more additional information that'll connect with all this, sequentially. Not to overburden people with too much info, just practical steps to be taken. That's it. Okay. And my mom is back. She had a fantastic trip, by the way. So let me just...
Because I had called her a couple